It's almost June 2024, and the presidential election continues to get crazier. The latest polls show a widening national lead for Trump, up 1.5 points over Biden, according to the 538 average. Yesterday, Donald Trump was convicted by a jury of all 34 counts in New York. And in the midst of his sentencing, an insane new poll was released, and we're jumping straight into it. Emerson College, which is widely considered as one of the most reputable pollsters, released a poll out of New York that details a stunning decrease in support for Biden, with him leading Trump by just 7 points in the 5-way poll. This is absolutely jaw-dropping because New York is well known as a bastion of Democratic support. For reference, Biden won in 2020 by over 23 points, and now he leads Trump by just 7 points. Digging into the data, we see this poll has a 3-point error margin, meaning it's likely that this is a fairly accurate snapshot of the election. Obviously, with 7 points, this state will still go to Biden, being rated as likely Democratic. However, this poll still has wide ramifications. Many areas along the East Coast, like New Jersey, may not be firmly classified as solidly Democratic, as they often exhibit similar voting patterns to New York. We'll dive deeper into this, but for now, let's get the states that are solidly Trump out of the way. Idaho, Utah, Wyoming, Montana, North and South Dakota, the majority of Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, Alaska, Louisiana, Mississippi, Arkansas, Tennessee, Alabama, South Carolina, Kentucky, West Virginia, Ohio, Indiana, Missouri, Iowa, as well as Nebraska at large, and the 2nd District of Maine are all solidly Republican, giving Trump a great 189-vote start. Biden should easily secure the states of Washington, Oregon, California, Hawaii, Colorado, Illinois, Vermont, Connecticut, Delaware, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Maryland, and the District of Columbia, now with only a handful of states left up for grabs. Let's dig deeper into the latest polls and see where the election stands. Florida falls just under the 10-point threshold to be considered solidly Republican, with the latest poll showing Trump up 9 points over Biden. Heading over to 538, we see that Trump has pulled ahead 9 points or higher in each of the 5 most recent polls. Digging deeper, we see that Kennedy is polling at a pretty weak 6 points, which is unsurprising considering how early we are into the campaign season and how polarized this state is. Overall, Trump's 9-point lead puts Florida into the likely Republican column. Moving north, Georgia is polling at a surprising Trump +8. Trump carried this state previously in 2016, but Biden edged him out in 2020 by just 0.02 points. The state then appeared to maintain its blue tilt, with Raphael Warnock beating out his Republican opponent by nearly 3 points in the Senate runoff election. Now it seems to have shifted back towards the Republicans with Trump's current strong lead. Looking at the data, Kennedy is polling at 5 points and seems to be pulling more voters from Biden than Trump. This state will join Florida as likely Republican. Moving over to North Carolina, current polling shows Trump with a lead of 9 points. In the last election, Trump defeated Biden by 1.4%, and the state has continued to demonstrate a closely contested political landscape. The current 9-point lead for Trump suggests a persistence of Republican support. Kennedy is currently polling at 6 points, and again appears to be siphoning more votes from Biden, impacting the Democrats' performance. As of now, the latest poll puts North Carolina in the likely Republican category. Before we continue, take a moment to hit that subscribe button and support independent election news. Shifting our focus to Virginia, the latest poll indicates a +3 lead for Biden. This follows the pattern of Democratic gains in the state, but reveals a drop since Biden won in 2020 with a margin of over 10 points. The presence of Kennedy, who last polled at 14 points back in December, doesn't seem to enhance or diminish Biden's lead, suggesting that his base remains relatively solid. Overall, this puts the state into the lean Democratic column. Turning our attention to Pennsylvania, current polling indicates a pretty narrow advantage for Trump at +4. This state, a critical battleground, flipped to Trump in 2016, but was narrowly reclaimed by Biden in 2020 by just over 1 point. Pennsylvania's swing status and 19-point bucket makes it a focal point for both parties in this election cycle. Kennedy is currently polling at 8 points and is drawing votes from both candidates, but definitely more from Biden. The latest two-way poll shows Trump and Biden even. But when Kennedy is introduced, Trump's lead grows to 4 points, putting the state into the lean Republican category. At this point, Trump has secured enough votes to take the White House, but keep watching to find out just how many he can get. In New Jersey, the latest poll shows a lead for Biden of 5 points. This is a sharp drop from his 15-point victory in 2020. This lead puts the state into the lean Democratic column. In Michigan, the latest polls show Trump ahead by 1 point, which puts the state into the tilt Republican column. This is a significant observation, as Michigan was a key state that Trump won in 2016 by a very narrow margin, but flipped to Biden in 2020 by a 2.8% lead. This poll represents a slight expansion of that lead, but is still within the margin of error for Trump. Michigan's role as a pivotal battleground state in presidential elections cannot be overstated. In Wisconsin, current polling shows Trump leading by a margin of 1 point. Wisconsin has been a fiercely contested battleground state in recent elections. Biden won Wisconsin in 2020 by about 0.7%. A razor-thin margin that shows just how close this state was. Trump's lead in the current polls suggests another close race is likely, with both parties seeing substantial support. Kennedy is polling at 9 points, and Trump's lead puts the state into the tilt Republican column. Moving west to Minnesota, Biden holds a 2-point lead according to the latest polls, joining Wisconsin in the tilt column, but this time for the Democrats. Minnesota has been more consistently blue compared to Wisconsin, having voted for Democratic presidential candidates since 1976. New Hampshire currently shows a decent Biden lead of 3 points, putting the state into the lean blue column. Maine at large and the 2nd District are also in favor of Biden, this time leaning blue with leads of 6 and 7 points. We finally have data out of Nebraska's 2nd District, with Biden ahead 5 points, which puts this vote into the lean Democratic column. Unfortunately, there isn't much data out of New Mexico, with the latest poll being from August. It showed a 6-point Biden lead, so for now, we'll put it into the likely Democratic column. Moving to Arizona, the latest polls indicate that Trump is leading by 2 points. This represents a solid shift given that Biden narrowly won Arizona in 2020 by approximately 0.3%, marking the first time the state voted Democratic in a presidential election since 1996. Arizona's shift towards Trump is further compounded as Kennedy pulls more votes from Biden. Overall, the state falls just short of lean Republican, ending up in the tilt column. In Nevada, we see a similar pattern with Trump currently ahead by 3 points in the polls. Nevada has been a swing state with close margins in recent elections. The state's diverse electorate, including significant urban populations in Las Vegas and Reno, has historically swung between the two major parties. Trump's current lead suggests a reversal of the 2020 results, influenced perhaps by economic concerns and immigration issues that could be swaying voters. Overall, we see a 312-vote win for Trump. Despite his legal woes, the former president is currently poised for a strong win, widening his lead in numerous swing states and even eroding long-standing Democratic support in states such as New York and New Jersey.